Teaching is not just a job, it is a human service and it must be thought of as a mission. That was a quote from an American educator and scholar, Ralph W. Tyler. Most closely associated with curriculum theory and development and educational assessment and evaluation. Many consider him to be the father of behavioral objectives, a concept he frequently used in asserting learning to be a process through which one attains new patterns of behavior. Can you tell us more about yourself?
I am Ralph Winfield Tyler. I was born April 22, 1902 in Chicago, Illinois. And soon I moved to Nebraska in the year 1904. In the year 1921, at the age of 19, I was able to receive my Bachelor of Arts degree from a college in Crete, Nebraska. And I began teaching in high school in Pierre, South Dakota. And I was able to obtain my Master of Arts degree from the University of Nebraska in the year 1923. So while I was working there as an assistant supervisor of sciences from the year 1922 to 1927. In 1927, I was able to finish my Doctor of Philosophy from the University of Chicago. So after serving as an associate professor of education at the University of North Carolina in the year that was 1927 to 1920. So I went to Ohio State University where I obtained my rank as a professor of education. That was the year 1929 to 1930. So it was 1938 when I became nationally prominent into my involvement or engagement with the professional education related to 8-year study. That was one of my work. And I investigate the secondary education curriculum requirement and the relationship to subsequent college success. So in the year 1938, I continued working on my 8-year study at the University of Chicago, where I was employed as a chairman of the Department of Education, and that was 1938 to 1943. And I became the dean of the social sciences from 1948 to 1953. And I also became the university examiner. And that was 1938 to 1953. So in 1953, I became the first director of the Sanford, California-based Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Studies or Sciences. It is a position that I was held until I retired in the year 1966.
So, what was your contribution to curriculum development?
So in my whole life and education, I published many works, many books. One of the most prominent works that I contribute, especially related to education, curriculum instruction, that was the basic principles of curriculum instruction that was published in the year 1949. It's actually a core syllabus used by generation of college students as a basic reference for curriculum instruction and development. Of course, I created the entire model in which first curriculum that was based for many core syllabus, and even the curriculum that was started. And I believe I also believe that curriculum is a science, an extension of school philosophy. So in my whole life, I'm grateful, and I'm so glad that I was able to contribute to curriculum development. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And here's our second story. I discovered that education is not something which the teacher does, but that it is a natural process which develops spontaneously in the human being. And physical from Maria Montessori. She is recognized as one of the pioneers in the development of curriculum. Her ideas about the importance of the first 6 years of life and the boundless potential of children regardless of race, gender, or social class made a significant contribution to human rights as societies around the world began to redefine the rights and roles of women and children.
Hello, it's me, Maria Montessori. My methods remain the popular choice for many parents who seek an alternative education for their children, especially for the early childhood through the primary years. Before I took an interest in education, I was the first woman in Italy to obtain the training to become a doctor. In the years following, and for the rest of my life, I dedicated myself to advancing my child-centered approach to education. I lectured widely, wrote articles and books, and developed a program to prepare teachers in the Montessori method. Through my efforts, Montessori education curriculum was adopted worldwide.
And here's our third story. No matter what views people have of the function of education, they can at least agree that people need to learn to think. That was a quote from Hilda Taba, curriculum theorist, curriculum reformer, and teacher educator. She contributed in the theoretical and pedagogical foundations of concept development and critical thinking in social studies curriculum, and helped to lay the foundation of education for diverse student population.
Hi, I'm Hilda Taba. I'm an architect, a curriculum theorist, a curriculum reformer, and a teacher educator. I was born in the small village of Corasta, Estonia. My mother's name is Lisa Let, and my father is Robert Taba, a school reformer. I began my education at the Kanipi Parish School. I then attended the Forest Girls Grammar School and earned my undergraduate degree in English and philosophy at Tartu University. When I was given the opportunity to attend Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania, I earned my master's degree. Following the completion of my degree at Bryn Mawr College, I attended Teachers College at Columbia University. I was a student of John Dewey. I wrote my first dissertation after studying with him and wrote a total of 7 books. As I remember, my dissertation entitled Dynamics of Education, a Methodology of Progressive Educational Thought in 1932 focused on educating for democracy. I discussed how children should learn how to relate to one another through democratic relationships. 2 other key ideas in my dissertation included how learning should involve dynamic, interrelated, and interdependent processes, and how educators are accountable for the delivery and the evaluation of the curriculum. I also believed educational curriculum should focus on teaching students to think rather than simply to regurgitate facts. After working with John Dewey, Benjamin Bloom, Ralph Tyler, Deborah Elkins, and Robert Havighurst, I also wrote a book entitled Curriculum Development, the Theory and Practice in 1962. On the other hand, I have the so-called down-top model or grassroots approach, which has 7 steps. First, diagnosis of learners' needs. The teacher, who is also the curriculum designer, starts the process by identifying the needs of the students for whom curriculum is to be planned. For example, majority of students are unable to think critically. Second, formulation of objectives. After the teacher has identified the needs of the learners that require attention, he or she specifies the objectives by which needs will be fulfilled. Third, selection of the content. The objective selected or created suggest the subject matter or content of the curriculum. Not only objectives and content should match, but also the validity and significance of the chosen content need to be determined. Example, the relevance and significance of the content. Fourth, organization of the content. A teacher cannot just select content but must organize it in a particular sequence, taking into consideration the maturity of learners, their academic achievement, and their interest. Fifth, selection of learning experiences. Content must be presented to students and they must be engaged with the content. At this point, teachers should select appropriate instructional methodology that will involve the students with the content. Sixth, organization of learning activities. The learning activities should be organized in a sequence depending both on content sequence and learners' characteristics. The teacher needs to keep in mind the students he or she will be teaching. Lastly, evaluation. The curriculum planner, example, the teacher must determine what objectives have been accomplished. To assess the achievement of learning objectives, evaluation procedures need to be designed. I am happy that somehow I have shared my knowledge through my books that I have written, and most importantly, to the development of the curriculum which is used to enhance the thinking skills of students. I believe that there must be a process for evaluating student achievement of content after the content standards have been established and implemented. And the main concept of this approach, the grassroots approach to curriculum development, is that teachers must be involved in the development of the curriculum.
And here's our fourth story. Children are born persons. That was a quote from Charlotte Masson. She is citizen of Britain and one of the first female pioneers in education. Her dream was that all children, no matter what social class, should have the opportunity to obtain a liberal arts of education. She was dedicated to improving the way in which children were educated. Hi, I'm Charlotte Masson and I am citizen of Britain and I am one of the first female pioneers in education. My dream was that all children, no matter what social class, should have the opportunity to obtain a liberal arts education. I was dedicated to improving the way in which children were educated. Seeing the importance of educating parents in areas of discipline and the training of children, I began the Parents Education Union. I believe that children learn best through living books and real experiences rather than dry textbooks. My methods included an emphasis on the enjoyment of arts and study of great artists and musicians. Many of my educational practices were all suited to home education, and my methods have become the foundation of many homeschooling families.